Welcome to the Power Network.
Just Keep Living to me now means I get it. And one of the things about Just Keep Living is that I wanted to have a place where people would feel safe. It really isn't enough to be right. You have to be effective. And you'll learn that the more breaths that you take, the more grace that you're given, the more opportunities that you have to just keep living. Just Keep Living with Marva Hanks.
This is Marva on Potatron Network on Just Keep Living. My guest today is Alecia Watson, and I'm so grateful to get to have another opportunity to chat it up with you, Alecia. I know we did jazz the other night at the Freeman.
Yes.
Looking forward to today. And real easy and comfortable. If you didn't want coffee, I have some. And our handsome producer, Walter Johnson Jr., is partaking of the beverage. So just real relaxed. We met a couple of weeks ago because of the microfinance board that I serve on, and we're wanting to partner with you and see if there's going to be an organic fit for both of us.
Right.
But what captured me was your story when we were getting to know each other in my loft upstairs. So tell me a little bit about what brought you here to Dallas. And from now on, I'm going to just refer to you as Chocolate.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you, Marva, for having me, and Walter Johnson Jr. for narrating. Thank you. I'm excited. I just love Jesus, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what our organizations can do together. So for listeners, my name is Alecia Watson, but I'm affectionately known as Chocolate. And I like to joke and say that's not my stripper name.
Okay, thank you. Let's clear that up for the saints.
First things first.
Mm-hmm, so they don't get a visual of something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Chocolate started as a derogatory, and I used to be bullied and picked on as a kid. And I'm the oldest of 8 on both sides. And I'm specifically on my mother's side, my 7 siblings are biracial and I'm not. And so I used to get picked on for my skin being darker than most. And then when I turned 17, I was like, you know what? You may know some Alecias, but you do not know some Chocolates that will come in, brighten up your day, and leave the room full.
And that's what you did.
Yeah. So I just kind of like to give a little background, but I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit here in South Dallas called Redeemed Women. Mm-hmm. And Redeemed Women is a 501c3, and our mission is to raise up leaders from the community, specifically with women, because South Dallas is predominantly Black. I'm a Black woman, so I understand all of the challenges, all of the things is what I like to say. Mm-hmm. I've been raped, homeless, abused, mom being on drugs, dad an alcoholic, but I like to say, but God.
Victory story.
Yes, that part. And so when I think about why I'm here, so why I'm in Dallas, I am here in Dallas, 'cause I want to go back to your question. I'm here in Dallas because I had bone cancer several years ago. I had cancer twice in my left leg. And because my mother was on drugs, she couldn't take me back and forth to the hospital. So my grandmother, my mom's mother, she sent me to Dallas to live with my dad. And I've been here ever since. I was born here, but my parents divorced when I was 2, and I moved to Compton, California. So what I like to say that my mama was a Rolling Stone, because I lived in Compton, Eaglewood, Watts, like all the hood. And then God brought me back to South Dallas, and I was like, Lord, now look, I'm tired of the hood. And so because I've been through so many challenges, I was just like, how can I give back? I went to school for early childhood education. I graduated top of my class, and then I got into transportation and logistics, and I did that for about 9 years. And then in 2013, another life challenge hit me. And it wasn't the baby at 14 that I had. It was breast cancer. And so I was diagnosed with breast cancer stage 2, and I did a double mastectomy without reconstruction. And so here I am, a beautiful, bold Black woman with no breasts and no hair, and still loving Jesus. And people are like, wait a minute, how are you able to do that? And I say, but God, and let me tell you about him. But I'm not a Bible beater. And so what I like to say with that is, I'm not going to pull out scripture every 5 minutes. I'm going to just share my story, and hopefully it'll point you back to him, is what I like to say. And so that's what's called me to stay in Dallas, but I am very outgoing and spontaneous. So I love to travel. I love to do life with new people, and thinking about our friendship and new relationship. Marva, you welcomed me in. When you opened the door, you were like, hey, and very direct. And I loved it because I'm direct and it didn't offend me. And I was like, okay.
For sure. Queens don't mind meeting other queens and paying homage.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, we talked about that day that we met, the skill set that we both have of code switching the language.
Yeah, oftentimes people think they stereotype us, right? And so, telling somebody that I grew up in West Dallas, then Compton, California, living in South Dallas, people are always asking me, how are you able to raise millions with the white folks? and I say, well, because I know how to code switch very, very well. It's called, I know how to read. And I'm educated. And guess what? I'm not Jenny from around the block. I'm Chocolate from around the block. And so I know how to do that well.
Right.
And I think it's a surprise to people that we actually have to do these things. Like, so we're talking about code switch, but why do I even have to do these things? Well, I have to do these things because people will look at me and look at my class and not really understanding where I'm from. And so they won't give me a chance. And so here it is, running a nonprofit in Dallas. And I told you I grew up in the hood. But what you don't know is, because you heard me say that I grew up in the hood, is that I've never been to jail. I don't have any criminal record. I've never been on drugs. I've never been on alcohol. And so I find myself having to explain that all the time. And so I had to learn how to do things different, which means I had to fall into that code switch category.
Mm-hmm. And because our board is mixed.
Yes.
And yours is also.
Yes.
So we find that we are oftentimes the voice of our people.
Yes.
But we don't want to stop them we are not the monolithic experience. So I'm rural experience.
Yes.
And there, so, never been in jail, all of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having to do that well, but there is something about you that our listeners can't see you that is magnetizing. And so you have a beautiful smile. And I told you that.
Yeah.
Then the other night when we were hanging out, I was like, there is something that draws people to you. And so I think that you utilize that to your advantage.
I do. I often say that if I show up with a smile, you'll wonder why. And so you're either going to ask me why I'm smiling, or you're just going to be drawn to, like a magnet, to the smile. And then I get to unpack layers about me, who I am, what I'm doing in the city, how I collaborate with others, because it's not about me. And then how we're called to do life, because I believe in authentic community. So you're going to see me in my raunchiness and all my real words that I didn't pull out the dictionary, that you think that I have broken English, but you're also going to see me say, hello, Marva, how are you today?
For sure. People want to be seen and they want to be heard. I use my superpower of all of these inches to the same.
Yes.
To benefit the cause. So I like to ask a lot of questions,
yes.
And I understand you do too. What's your proudest accomplishment today as far as your nonprofit?
Today, I would say that I am proud that I started a capital campaign a year and a half ago to purchase property. And I'm proud to say that I am a proud owner of property that I started a capital campaign for a year ago, and have raised all of the money and some to pay this property out in cash. So today, that's what I'm proud of.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so when do you sign the paperwork, get the documents?
We close Tuesday.
Okay. You close Tuesday.
Yes.
Praise God for it.
Yeah.
And so what will the property be used for?
So the property is called The Well. So for my Bible Belt believing people, I say, I disclaim that The Well is where the women in the Bible met at the well. Read John. It's all up in there. But the women met at the well. And so it would be a training source. It would be a place that our organizations can partner together, right? But two, just a training center and, a resource center for women that's getting out of incarceration or escaping prostitution and drug trafficking, those kind of things. Because, my mom has been on drugs all of her life. My mother died last Sunday of drug overdose and AIDS. And my mother never worked a day in her life, not one job. I've been working since I was 15 years old. So, and I understand why. Is one, because didn't nobody give her a chance, but two, she didn't know how to read. And so you have to understand that there's a certain class of women that want help, but no one is willing to to come alongside them and do that. And Jesus has specifically called me to come down and do life with people and not consider myself more holier than the other. And so with that, I'm able to say, hey, let me tell you about my story. Let me tell you about what I've been through, and let me tell you how you can do it. I had a baby at 14 years old. My daughter graduated from UT Arlington, top of her class. She went to high school, graduated top of her class. She went to community college, and she's 24, and she is not a baby mama. It can happen.
Praise God.
And so, but you have to hear some success stories to know that it can happen for you as well. And so our goal with Redeemed Women is to teach and empower and educate and all the things. And you asked about an accomplishment. One of the things that I love in these almost 4 years of running Redeemed Women, I've been in nonprofit 7, but in these almost 4 years of running Redeemed Women, just this year, 2020, we had 2 high school graduates from Lincoln High School go to college paid for through Redeemed Women.
That's awesome.
So talk about the cycle of generational poverty being broken.
Yeah, and it will be, and you're coming alongside what the Holy Spirit is doing in the community. But I do want to take pause and mourn with you for the loss of your mother.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was just days ago.
Yeah, it's okay.
We want to respect that. You know, she was a gift from God.
Yeah.
She gave birth to you.
Absolutely.
And so what's your fondest memory of your mother?
You're listening to Just Keep Living with Marva Hanks.
I would say my fondest memory is probably when I lived here in Dallas with her and we went to Sesame Street and I met Big Bird and I cried.
And about how old were you when you...
I was 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so, yeah.
Awesome. And so how was memorial service? Or how do we pay tribute to Mom?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
I didn't have a relationship with her. And that's okay. I've been in foster care since I was 5. So I know of her and I don't know her. But that's okay. She passed away in San Bernardino, California, which is where my mom's side of the family is from. So yeah, I'll just pray for me.
So are you involved with your siblings? You said you're the oldest of 8. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I was not raised with any of them. And so, sad thing, my siblings kind of didn't go through what I went through. And so they kind of don't understand the emptiness. And they wasn't in foster home like I was. And they didn't have to, live with a mom strung out, shooting up every day. And so our experiences are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we know something. Well, I'm a intercessor prayer. So what I hear, and there's some specific things that I can be praying about for you in reconciliation with the family.
Yes.
On this side of the veil of heaven.
Yeah.
So, okay. With that, then more joyous things to talk about.
Yeah.
What's going to be your next project? Are you looking for mentors for Redeemed Women? How can we get in touch with you? What is a way that, what's your ideal participant look like?
Yeah. So, loaded question. Love the question. But I got answers. My next project is I'm actually working on my second book. My first book is called Anointed, a survivor's story from unspeakable pain to undeniable joy. And so my next personal project is to work on book 2 that I actually start working on next Tuesday. That's the start date. And I plan to roll that out in about 6 months. It really doesn't take me that long to write. So personally that, and then on the professional side, I'm absolutely looking for mentors and volunteers for Redeemed Women. Specifically, here's my call to Black volunteers. Come out. Just come out. Get involved with your community and show up and represent. I'm a Black woman and I am asking for Black people to link arms with me. This mission cannot go forward without people that without people that look like the community. Again, South Dallas is 86% Black. We need some more volunteers that look like us to come down, just being real.
Right. So I heard about you 2 ways. So I heard about you when I was volunteering at Abide through Cecily Smith's entity, and her executive director there was raving about you. Julie Heath had read your book and had met you, and she was raving about you. So it took me too long, 18 months, to finally get to see you in person. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So when you say you want people to show up and come out, where are we showing up to? Where are we coming? Are there regular places of which you?
Yes. So now that we've purchased our permanent space, which of course I don't know the address off the top of my head because this just happened 2 days ago. But I just would tell people to go to our website. All the information is there.
You always have a call to action on your website.
There's always a call to action. redeemedwomen.org. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Redeemed Women Dallas. And we're also on YouTube, so you can watch some cool videos there. But I would say that 100% of the time you can always find out about volunteer opportunities from visiting the website. We have things that work around your schedule. So we have monthly volunteer opportunities to sporadic volunteer opportunities, right? But then also I would just, if you're a business owner and you're looking to give back locally, some in-kind gifts, some printing, use your talents. Oftentimes people think that they just have to give money in philanthropy. Philanthropy means so much. I'm not going to break down the stats, but I will say, because I am a stat girl, that people need to know that 95% of nonprofits are ran by white people. 5 to 7 are ran by Black. And when I say Black, I don't mean like Black women, strong Black women like myself. And so that shows you where the gap is. And so I encourage anybody, if you want to know about what's going on, do your due diligence and do some research and come down, ask questions, find out, hey, just do a self-evaluation. Here's my talent, and this is how I can use it. And it don't have to just necessarily be in money. Time, talent, and treasures is what we're called to do. Right. So again, visit redeemedwomen.org. You can learn more there. And if people want to follow me personally, they can follow at Watson Chocolates. I am real and uncut every day. It does not change. It doesn't matter about who I'm with, whether I'm in Plano or South Dallas. I am the same chocolate each and every day.
Gotcha. And I'm more grateful and I'm empowered because of our meeting. One thing that I am learning, and I challenge the boards of which I serve or some groups that I've stepped down off of, is that the cost to do time and do life with an entity costs more than writing that check or doing that Cash App real quick and then not thinking about it. But when you're truly invested in the person and their sustainability, then that's where it costs you more. Yeah. You find that time and your energy costs more than actual resources and dollar and money. So how many women would you like to see in growth in the next 12 months? And would you have the capacity for dozens of volunteers?
Absolutely. So our volunteer, I would say that since COVID, our volunteer base has went down. We used to have 25 volunteers a week.
Okay.
A week. And so when you think about COVID, we're down to 2 a week. So we always have the capacity for volunteers, whether it be in person or remotely. So let me make sure I preference that. And then I would say in the next year, we want to see at least 30 women having successful legal employment where they have been employed for a year or more. We will take them through a vigorous life skills, soft and hard skill, because people fail to realize, not very many people know how to check the email and open it up and then hit reply. Okay. And so that takes some time, with the demographics of the people that we're working with. And I love my friends and I love my neighbors, but it is a reality. And so that is an audacious goal, but I do see that happening. This last year in 2019, we're in 2020 now. This last year, 5 women came to Christ. And so they are working, they are thriving, they are off of government aid. And so, we're celebrating that. That's still high.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So besides, I'm with DRA Lending, and they can find us at dralending.com, our microfinance program. What other community organizations are you involved with that are doing good work, that you have vetted them, that they're solid and that they're partnering with you? Yes,
that I put my name on.
There we go.
So I would definitely shout out about Women's Health. I know Cecily Smith and her heart to serve women throughout systemic racism and maternal health. So that is one. So Abide Women's Health. I Look Like Love is a diaper organization in South Dallas. Cornerstone Crossroads Academy. It's an at-risk youth school. Carter's House. They do back to school clothes and those kind of things. You also have You also have Bridge Builders Kids. They do after school program right in the housing development for the littles, 3 to 10. And we need those, because what I always say, I was a single mother. I used to have to get up and go to work at 5 a.m. And so, getting back home at that same time at 5, 6 p.m., my daughter was sometimes left at home by herself. And, predators are out from 3 to 7, and it's real, And so, so I put my name on those organizations just right off the top of my head. But I believe in doing life with people. Oh, and let me just make sure I shout out another one, Traffic 911. They deal with, young women that are coming out of the juvenile system for being trafficked out and all of those things. So I really love the work that they're doing. I mean, there are countless others that I've vetted, that I do life with. I know the executive directors. I've seen them in work and out of work. So I know that they are the real deal. And I don't really put my mouth on too many people, because there's some folks in South Dallas that say they doing something, but they really not. Yeah, I said it.
Right. We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah.
Because you need to know that also.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to know who's doing talk and the empty carb talk. So who's median of substance. Well, I'm grateful that we got to have this time together.
This is so fun.
More so to highlight the work that you're doing. And I told you the name of my podcast is Just Keep Living.
Yeah.
And you said also that your grandmother would tell you that also.
Yeah.
As a baby, just keep living, so that we would understand more and more the things that frustrate us or cause us angst. We need to just keep living in this political season that we're in, but we do need to go and do our due diligence and vote.
Yes,
and,
we do. We need
and
to
take others with us to vote also.
Yeah, I'm planning. We have a company vehicle. It's a 12-passenger van, and every time there's something that has to do with voting or the local elections, not just the primaries, we are loading up our van and we are taking people out. And so again, that is a part of the Just Keep Living. I think about my next season of living and wanting to do radio and broadcast, and I keep saying that I want Tyler Perry or Oprah to pick my story up so they can do my movie, right, of my book. And so that reminds me of when you say just keep living, that I have so much more to live. I'm only 39, but I've lived a lot of life in these 39 years, and I have a lot more living to do, and I'm just glad that I get to do it with you.
Well, I am also, and we're going to ask that God just breathe on your dream and let the seeds grow as they may. And so with that, we're just going to close out, and we appreciate the time that we had together under the guidance of our handsome producer Walter Johnson Jr. on Potatron Network.
Thank you.
Everyone at some point in their lives will have to settle the matter of disappointment, whether in people or circumstances. Choose to receive His grace to influence your next step. Just keep living with Marva Hanks.
Sign up and be a part of the team. Be a Potatron at Potatron.com. Thank you for listening to Potatron.